Greetings, YouTube. So today's November 4th, 2024, and it's crunch time. If you haven't voted, now it's time. I voted via mail in ballot in the middle of October, so I was done and dusted long before now. Um, but there's been good early turnout. Not all of it for Harris. Some of been for Chump. Um, But they are seeing a lot of young voters. I actually saw a parade of voters go headed to early voting on one college campus, which was encouraging because the youth of America could end the GOP, and that is the only way we're going to get to go forward. I realize that Harris is a disappointment. Biden was a disappointment. Obama was a disappointment. We can keep going back. Every Democrat has had an opportunity to make really great gains, and they've completely flubbed the ball because they keep waiting for for the Republicans to be reasonable. All the while, the Republicans have been plotting and planning and laying the groundwork to just destroy democracy because they've realized that in their desire to have control, democracy doesn't work. So rather than give up that control, they decided to get rid of democracy. And the Democrats have just stood there for the most part. And it's disgusting and depressing. But getting rid of the GOP is the first step in the right direction. And then we have to work on getting rid of the Democrats and start moving towards a truly democratic socialist future, which is where we need to go. That's the only level of progress that's going to save us. If we, the people, take care of we, the people. Um, and we can't do that with the GOP in existence. And if the women of America vote for Harris, and if the youth of America vote for Harris, we can at least break the back of the GOP. And then we can start putting the Democrats to the grindstone and telling them we want actual change because we'll primary you. We'll work on getting people in power who are going to actually make the changes in the nation that we need. Now we are also stuck with the problem there being over 70 million Americans who are nakedly fascists, who love authoritarian dictators because the authoritarian dictator is going to keep telling them that they're the very special bestest boys and girls in the world and that straight white cisgender people should remain front and center in all things and everyone else should be pushed to the margins because white America is terrified of a future where they're no longer the dominant group, where they're no longer 50% of the population. And we are headed there. There's the possibility I might actually live to see that. I'm not sure if I will. There's the possibility I will. And if you've got kids, they'll see it. If you've got grandkids, they'll see it. And a lot of white people are terrified about that because they're seeing the demographic shifts of America and they're not in it. They're not front and center in those future images they've seen. There there are black people and brown people. There are indigenous people stepping forward into politics and actually making changes. There are Asian people. There are gay and there are trans people. And of course, there are scapegoating trans people because it's the smallest minority they can. And of course, once they convince people it's okay to discriminate against trans people, then it's okay to just discriminate against gay people. Then it's okay to, and that's how they get the ball rolling. And of course, they want to strip women of their bodily autonomy completely. Project 2025. If you were to present that to an editor at some kind of a publication, they would ask you, why are you ripping off The Handmaid's Tale? If you were to present Chump as a character in a book, no editor in their right mind would let you publish it unless it was supposed to be a satirical farce. And then maybe you could get away with it. But reality doesn't have to abide by the sense of a fictional universe. It has to have some internal structure that is consistent. The American fear possessed by all these white folks, that's enough to push the Overton window right into fascism. And if we want to grab that Overton window and push it toward socialism, the first step is get rid of the GOP. I know that this means asking a whole lot of people who have been marginalized by the Democrats and ignored by the Democrats, having to rub shoulders with a whole lot of white liberals who are very much NIMBYs, very much happy with the status quo, and really don't want to rock the boat. Are very much, well, it's not quite time for the kind of future that you think we should have. But of course, justice denied is, delayed is justice denied. So we need to stop delaying it. We need to deliver. And like I said, the first step down that road is to get rid of the GOP, to break its back, make sure it doesn't ever return. So I'm hoping that you do your duty on November 5th if you haven't already, because we have that power. We can do it. But if we have fatalism, if we don't think our vote counts, if we are going to protest by not voting, which isn't a protest because this isn't a boycott of a business, if you're going to do anything other than help drive the GOP out of existence, I don't know what to say. If you were someone I knew, I would probably stop talking to you because an inability to do what needs to be done, no matter how distasteful it is, because it has to be done, is to my mind a sign of being an adult. There are times we have to muck the shit. And right now that's where we are. And the GOP is the shit. And it's our job to shovel it and get it the hell out of the way.